The topic of this video is abundant manifestation in all forms. The title is Why Your Manifestations Fail Without Soul Alignment. This is a session you might even want to take some notes on. And I'm going to take the subject in a rather broad context rather than just narrowly defining it in just the terms of your bank account. Manifestation, as we're considering it, means what you have created in your inner space as well as your outer space. For instance, manifestation in your outer space would include things such as good health, free time, fulfilling work, a wonderful relationship, financial security, a vacation to someplace where you've always wanted to go, a new car, or even developing a skill or talent, such as music or art or roller skating or knitting or something. Your inner space would include things like happiness and fulfillment, love, your spiritual life, and your emotional state. To put it simply, there are two factors affecting manifestation. Manifestation takes 1, passion and commitment, and 2, a harmonious alignment with your beliefs. Commitment and passion go together. What you're passionate for is what you're most likely to get because you're going to be committed to it. If you want what aligns with your inner beliefs and you have passion for it, then you're going to attain it. It's as simple as that. Well, maybe it's not so simple. We'll get to that. Assuming you have a passion for something, the next question is that you want to ask is, are you in alignment with your inner truth and beliefs? In other words, are your inner beliefs regarding your passion for your highest good? And you need to be able to answer this in order to progress. The difference between what you want and what your soul wants for you, for your highest purpose, are your first hurdle. If you are aligned, then what you are in pursuit of is an integrity, and this becomes your journey. If you are not aligned, then your job is to clear the beliefs as to why you limit yourself. And if you don't do anything with this for the next 6 months, you're going to be pretty much where you are now. But if you do your homework and you identify the pictures in your memories and your beliefs, and you take the time to clear them, you're going to open the way to reach your goals. The key is to reach it inside first, so then you can reach it outside. How can you reach something on the outside if you can't reach it on the inside? When what is on the outside is a reflection of what is inside. So there is some work that's involved, and you do it one step at a time. This means that your task is to progress through your pictures, your memories, and one example of that might be the pictures you might have of a memory of sadness, perhaps. So you could start with that. What is the sadness over? Probably it has something to do with some kind of a loss or something that you could not attain. Identify what the strongest issue is triggering sadness. Another example might be you feel you don't deserve a wonderful relationship or success with money for some reason. Then that is your starting picture. What memory or belief triggers the feeling that you don't deserve something? And here's how you do it. You pick an issue, you describe it in one sentence. For example, I don't think I'm enough to make it happen, or I'm not good enough. Variation of it. I'm not ready yet. I'm not worthy. I'm just not good enough. Fate is against me. I have bad luck. So there's a lot more, but that gives you the idea. Formulate one sentence of what you think about your memories. 2, sense and feel the emotional content attached to the statement. 3, surrender the need for it. I'm willing to surrender or release the need for this belief. And then you name where your specific belief is. 4, you call to the enlightened soul to merge into the belief until it disappears. And the last step can take some time. You'll probably need to be repeated several times, maybe over days or even weeks. So when you get to that point, then you want to pause the video if you're following along with the video, or make note that you're going to do it later. The steps are really quite simple, and hopefully you can remember them when you can take them into a meditation at a later time. That's one way to eliminate the obstacles. There are a lot of other techniques, of course. The important point is that you address the specific belief and you apply some kind of a technique to neutralize it. For instance, you could shout in your mind the word cancel numerous times. And if you keep doing that over a period of days, your subconscious will no longer hold that limiting belief. It will cancel it. Or another thing you could do is you could imagine you're vacuuming off the energy of the belief, literally vacuuming it out of your head, whatever that belief is that's blocking you. And you keep doing that until you have no reaction to the belief statement. And if you don't know about that technique or you don't believe it, then there's a whole chapter in my book, the Handbook for Enlightenment, that explains how I discovered that and how it worked to quiet the mind. Another idea that some people find useful and very effective is to use a visualization technique. So for that, you have your eyes closed and you imagine writing a belief statement on a whiteboard with a gray ink or a gray chalk marker. And then you erase the statement. And then you write a statement that is the positive opposite of it using a gold marker. And then you leave the statement in gold on the board. You go about this every day. And this is a method of replacing a belief in your subconscious mind. Yet another way is to repeat positive affirmations every day until your mind fully accepts them as true. Most of your beliefs got in your mind because you kept repeating them. So repetition is a powerful way of reprogramming the subconscious mind. And the beliefs that are affecting you are what are in your subconscious, not necessarily what's in your conscious mind. So you could believe one thing all you want with your conscious mind. I believe I should be healthy, wealthy, and wise. But your subconscious might have a counter program running to that. Like, who do you think you're kidding? What makes you think you're worthy of that? No, you're not good enough for that. And that's where all the doubting kinds of things come in. So that can be replaced if you keep repeating positive affirmations over a long enough period of time. Eventually, the subconscious will accept them. So now, once you've done the clearing process, the next thing is to align your vision. So create an inner alignment with what you want, with something that you know radiates inner goodness and therefore aligns with all of your inner guidance. You want to be in integrity. You want to align with your soul. So you tune into and you connect with whatever makes your heart sing. What is that? Something that increases love and joy and happiness, maybe oneness. And it includes a way to add to someone else's life so that you can be of help or service to someone else. In other words, being of service to someone is one way of aligning with the soul. And if you want to be successful, find ways to make other people happy and successful. Whatever you're wanting to manifest, it needs to be something that you can feel totally clear about and good inside. Something that you have no question or doubt about. And you know the universe would support you in wanting it. Once you have this alignment, then you will want your life to revolve around what you aligned with. So every morning when you wake up, you say, this is what is important for me in my life today. This is only going to take a few minutes. I align my desire with God's desire for me. And then you ask yourself, how can I use this day to support the arrival of my desire? You see, it needs to be more than a wish. You need to be doing things that move you toward the manifestation that you desire. So the first thing is you have to know what you want. That I know seems to be obvious, but a lot of people don't know what they want, except in very vague terms. The second thing is your level of commitment. And this is the other major key to having what you want. You might want it, but if your passion and commitment to it is only 3%, you might eventually reach it, but it might take 1,000 years. On the other hand, if you have a strong commitment, you could reach it quite quickly. So in your mind's eye, you imagine a meter that goes from 0 to 100%. And you ask yourself the question, to what degree am I committed to doing all that is necessary to reach my goal? If the percent that you came up with is less than 100%, then that is what you must work through to get to where you're going and what you want. So you do daily clearing work. You release any obstacles. You let go of limiting programs from the past. You utilize all the processes that you know to remove the obstacles, and then you will have it. So within roughly 14 days, maybe 21 at the most, you should have alignment, refining or changing what you want, clearing and working through what it is that is not in alignment until you are in 100% alignment with all of your inner guidance and with your soul. And once this is worked out, then you want to make sure you have plans formulated for action that will lead you toward your goal every day. The key at the end of your days is to review the day. And you might even want to have a journal where you write down a few things about what happened. How did you use your day? Was your day filled with beauty, fulfillment, and movement toward your goal? Watch the movie Groundhog Day if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen the movie, recall the message of the movie. You repeat life until you are in alignment with your highest purpose. At the end of the day, you ask, what is significant about this day? Ask yourself the question right now about today. Was there anything I need to know that I did not know? Or is there anything that I need to know that was out of alignment with my integrity and with my deepest core beliefs? And whatever you come up with, give thanks for those gems and clear away the obstacles and the conflicts. And then you connect with your heart and soul. You tune into the heart and soul and feel the presence of light and goodness as you go to sleep, and you'll be sleeping in the best state possible. So what all of this does is it makes your life an incredible opportunity. Now, I'd like to take this into a process with you. So there'll probably be some questions that you want to ask yourself, and there'll be some things to think about. Now, if you're driving or you're doing anything else, you can continue to listen. But at some point, for maximum effectiveness of this, you're going to want to do this more like a meditation. So realize that abundance is actually an archetype of energy, and it by its nature is generous energy. It has an open and a flowing quality to it. And as it energizes, it pushes to the surface what you're in resistance to. And this is important to understand. It's a big part of the process because the ego, being fear and security driven by nature, is always coming from a place of lack or that there's something missing. So you normally and naturally tend to operate from lack or fear of lack. As you feel yourself being aligned with abundance and feelings of a lack begin to surface, you're going to find that you need to dissolve them. You need to make them disappear. You need to neutralize them. So you can energetically shift into a place of abundance within yourself and see how that translates itself into your relationship and what you do with the rest of the world. It's not enough to just chant a few affirmations of abundance or a few positive thinking statements. They're helpful, not saying not to do them, but your thinking changes by forming a relationship with abundance and shifting your consciousness the way you hold on to abundance. Rather than thinking that you will change your relationship with abundance by merely repeating positive statements. The difference being just repeating positive affirmations, while it can be a very good thing, is really just working on the surface of your consciousness. And even if it eventually makes its way into the subconscious, it's still really just dealing with the surface because the part of you that is abundance is deeper than the conscious mind or the subconscious. It is a place in consciousness that emanates from the soul. Abundance is participation in the nature of creation. It's so much more than positive thinking. It's being one with the truth of who and what you are. It's being in alignment. It's being in integrity. So you make a commitment to merge with the consciousness of abundance, which is also the consciousness of your soul and the consciousness from where everything manifests. Manifestation, in whatever form it takes in your life, is an outgrowth of what you hold in your consciousness and how aligned it is with your soul. You see, you are already manifesting, but either you don't like what you've been manifesting, or you're not manifesting everything that you want. So at this point, you want to ask yourself a question. Who is it who wants to manifest what I want? Well, in answering that question, and it may seem silly to you, but it's not, you realize there is an aspect of your personality that is wanting something. Not necessarily the soul or the core of you. That is not your personality. They're not who you are. Those are what you may identify yourself with. You may think that's who you are, but you are something beyond all of that. So you want to go deeper and acknowledge who's here. All manifestation, if it's going to be fully successful and satisfying, must begin by acknowledging who is here to manifest. The amazing truth is that a fully mature, enlightened, aware consciousness being that you want and imagine you will become sometime in the future is as much available right now as it will be 1,000,000 years from now. You see, the soul is timeless and it is fully aware. It is only your conscious operating system that isn't. And this is really important to getting where you want to go. When you are wanting to manifest, it's going to work a whole lot better if the intentions are coming from your soul, not just from your personality. Now, it can come from your personality, but the combination of the two is the most effective way. So you connect with abundance, you acknowledge you are connecting with the universe of abundance, and you sense this is where your soul is aligned. So you say, I am abundance, expressing and creating and attracting. I am a source of manifestation. Now, let's connect with the need behind why you want to manifest what you want to manifest. In exploring the need, it allows you to make a commitment to fulfilling the most important thing, which is why you want to manifest what you want to manifest. Within you is the soul leading you home, and that part of you leading you home is already home. It's already there. And so it puts the impulse in you to keep up, to keep moving in the direction of home. Home is where the soul is. And the soul is the overall orchestra leader of your life. Sometimes you make free will choices to override its direction. Yeah, that happens. But ultimately, you're headed toward fullness, love, wholeness, completion, and abundance. The source of the fulfillment of the need is within you already. It's not external. This is important. As you allow the consciousness of abundance to flow into the area of need, you'll experience a shift in your life in orientation to the need. An easy way to get in touch with the need behind what you want to manifest is to explore what the relationship is of the manifestation with the rest of your life. So, how would you feel if you had this in your life right now? How would your life be different? How would it change? How do you imagine you would be? Would you be more happy, more fulfilled? Would you be more grounded? Would you be more satisfied? And after you figure that out, then you get in touch with what you are really wanting. Fulfilling the need doesn't mean you cannot have the form, but the form will not be enough by itself if you don't address the need. Fulfilling the need doesn't mean you can't have the form, but the form won't be enough by itself if you don't address the need. The manifestation may not be instantaneous, often it's not, but it might be as a result of changing your inner space for fulfilling the need, and then you create what's called an attractor field. Your whole energy field becomes a field of attraction that brings you who or what you need. And that may come in the form of just the right information that you need to lead you to what you want and need. So sometimes it doesn't work directly. Sometimes it does lead you directly to the car dealership, for instance, and the plenty of money in the bank to buy the vehicle you want. But other times it seems to work more indirectly or more broadly. So it brings you things that are going to lead you to being able to have what you want. So to bring things to you outwardly, you must do what is necessary to make changes inwardly. The other aspect, which you must spend some time with on manifesting, is opening your capacity to receive. This is really important, and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle. It's important that you open your consciousness to receiving. So say these words to yourself and make them your own. I acknowledge my willingness to allow myself to receive. I acknowledge my willingness to allow myself to receive. I acknowledge my willingness to allow myself to receive. Receiving is not actually an activity or something you do. It is really self-permission. It's allowing. It's a state of being that creates an openness to accepting. So to receive, you have to allow yourself to open and align with trust. So say these words again to yourself and make them your own. I acknowledge my willingness to allow myself to receive. I am willing to surrender and release the need for obstacles to receiving. I am willing to surrender and release the need for obstacles to receiving. So you want to acknowledge you have an ability, a power, and a capacity to receive. In fact, I think it would be good for you to state this. I am the ability, power, and capacity to receive. You see how good that feels? Now let's explore how much you are open to receiving. Do you let yourself, allow yourself to receive the manifestations and all the things that you want? Well, let's find out. Use your imagination and bring up a meter that goes from 0 to 100% and ask yourself, to what degree am I open to receive all that I want? Now you can broaden that out and make it even more specific and add, how open am I? How willing am I? To what degree am I open to receive love and affection and a relationship? What kind of a number did your meter get? Let's ask the question another way. To what degree do I resist or limit my receiving what I want? Same topic, but asking the question from another angle. And you want to notice if there's any pulling back, or holding, or gripping, or doubt, or hesitation, or questioning. Anything like that that might show up in response to your request to know how open are you to receiving? To what degree do I resist or limit my receiving what I want? Now, you're going to want to keep coming back to this. You want to explore this sense of receiving. Repeat to yourself, I open myself to the energy of receiving. I open myself to the energy of receiving. And sense or feel your ability to receive in your body and your energy field. Are you open fully, 100%, to receiving all that you're wanting and asking for, or is there some kind of resistance? You see, this is not an activity that comes about simply by repeating statements, but it really comes about by letting go of every form of resistance, doubt, or disbelief. This receiving activity does not come about just simply by repeating statements, but it requires letting go of every form of resistance or doubt or disbelief. So when you affirm receiving, Pay particular attention to any inner voice of doubt or questioning or any outright refusal. Watch your reactions to the following statements and see if you find any resistance. If you do find any resistance, say, "Thank you for letting me know, and I surrender and release all need to you." Okay, so now follow the following words and make them your own and notice if there's any reaction or resistance. I am fully open to and receptive to receiving. I am fully open and receptive to receiving. I am willing to allow myself to receive the gifts of the universe. And let's expand that a little bit. I am willing to allow myself to receive all the gifts of the universe. I am completely open to the full download of the consciousness of receiving. I am completely open to the full download of the consciousness of receiving. Now, feel what giving yourself permission to receive is like. You want to explore it. You want to welcome it. Remember, it's not something that you make. It's not something that you work up. It's something you simply allow and you open yourself to. You can become familiar with the sense and the presence of it, of how it feels. So think of yourself as an energy field of receiving and see what your reactions are to these statements. I am willing to receive full intuition and psychic abilities. Pay attention to the commentary, because that will tell you whether you are open to receiving or you are in resistance. I am willing to receive full abundance. I am willing to receive communications of wisdom from my higher self. I am willing to receive love from others. I am willing to receive my next quantum leap in consciousness. Receiving is your greatest strength. It is much more powerful than doing. When you are fully open to receiving with no resistance, doubt, or obstacles, you have all the power of the universe at your front door. And this is why it is so important to say and know, I am open to the full power of receiving. I am open to the full power of receiving. I fully integrate receiving throughout my body, mind, and being. Now, once again, use your imagination to bring up a meter that goes from 0 to 100% and ask yourself, to what degree am I now open to receive all that I want? Take whatever number you get and commit to continue working up to a full 100% acceptance. Now inwardly say, I fully integrate receiving throughout my body, mind, and being. Let all of this resonate in your consciousness from this moment forward. Let receiving bring you into complete balance and universal harmony. Let receiving bring you into the consciousness of completion. Let receiving bring you into the consciousness of fulfillment. And with that, I say to you, may you receive beautiful gifts and a happy and fulfilling tomorrow.